Hey, I'm ElusiveKev, Mr. Con. Welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager careers for heading to Germany and the Sachsenring. And it is pouring it down. Look at this. We need a boat more than a bike. Let's go for the penultimate corner. This is definitely the wettest conditions that Dan MacDonald and Elusive have faced so far in this series. So halfway through this Moto3 season, the final for Dan MacDonald in this class before he steps up the Moto2 next season. We saw it get confirmed a couple of races ago, but of course he's trying to win the title. And it's gotten very close between him and Arnold Canet as, he's braked way too deep for the first corner, using the gravel trap. Not what you want to do on a qualifying lap, but these are new conditions for him. Even though he is very good in the wet, as we have seen in the past, even last time out, around Assen. In the race though, against his arch rival, he came from nowhere and beat MacDonald, but on the Sachsenring he's very handy. He's going to have great battles with Canet, with Mir in the past round there. I'm sure we're going to have another exciting one in the race. But first, let's try and do a good qualifying effort here. Get at least in the top 15, despite that mistake early on. As we've seen in past qualifying sessions, our opponent's a bit slower. It's got this shimmer effect in front. I'm not sure if it's picking it up in the recording, but it's just very weird. Oh, I can't wait for the Unreal 4 engine in this game. It's like a match made in heaven, hopefully. We've seen the potential with MotoGP3 of that engine. And with this game, mainly it'll help improve the stability, the recordings as well, the frame rate, optimization. This will bring so much more to the table as MacDonald brings just about a sub 90-second lap there. I'm really not sure that's good. Doesn't look how much it's pouring out there. Riders are earning their money in this qualifying session, and it's going to be a very wet race as well. It's not going to dry up, is it? As MacDonald grabs pole, it was good enough in the end by 0.6 of a second, despite the mistake in the first corner. He's definitely got the pace in the wet weather conditions. And Mir and Fanati. Canet on the second row, with Budder in fifth, Martin sixth, McPhee leads the third, Rev Bashani rounding out the top 10. There's the home hero in at 12 with the best Peugeot Kornfeld in 18th. This was a Hinjo Delaporte in 20th, and Artemet qualified in 28th with an All Mahindra. Is that 10th row alongside Basecki and Paglini. Has finished. Patrick is at the back, so a bit of a disappointing qualifying actually from our teammate. Not for MacDonald. Can he do one better than he did in the Assen race?
Hello from the Sachsenring and welcome to our live coverage of the German Grand Prix. The preparations are all done and dusted and Moto3 is about to take to the track.
As we look at the grid, there is a beautiful light still at the top. Bringing the light to a very dreary day, as you can see. It is just backing it down for the race as well. McPhee practicing his super fast starts there on the warm-up lap. As there's Delaporte in 20th. I'm not sure he's happy at that. Looks like he is, as there's Kumar needing the 10th row.
Wave the green flag. The riders can focus their thoughts, prepare to race. Another German Grand Prix here at the Sachsenring circuit.
Still, that shimmer effect looks so weird on my screen. Hope you're seeing it on the recording. As we have the end jump, we've got a long race here, so the lap is pretty short. The circuit is 8 laps to negotiate before we reach the halfway mark of this season. As Mir gets the jump on us, does Fanati down the inside. He does, the Italian. Oh, he's not letting us. Try and get back past as he eases way past Mir. MacDonald hoping to do the same thing round the outside of the span, which comes to the inside for the long right-hander. He's on the curb. He's bashing his way past the reigning champ. Martin in fourth. Canet dropped to position at the start. MacDonald is battling for the lead already with Fanati. We haven't seen these two battle a lot, haven't we? During the time in Moto3. We've seen the odd occasion, but it never seems to last the whole race. Let's see if it does this occasion as MacDonald's going round the outside. Oh, that may hinder us. Grunt. But oh, Fanati blocks him off there. Not accepting. Scott getting by him. As Martin takes third from Mir. MacDonald takes the lead from Fanati, more importantly. Lifting off down the waterfall now, which she is a waterfall this time. And almost half a second lead over Fanati. Martin in third. No Canet or Mir on the podium places at the moment. MacDonald will be very happy with that. Just as I say that, Mir gets back past his fellow Spaniard. Oh, MacDonald using all the curb there in the final corner. Don't want to be doing that. The curbs are very chunky there. We saw on the inside as the Fanati just holds off Mir for second. But has an over a second lead already. Can just ease it home already, can't he? Still got braking very early into that first corner, and I can qualify and does a 30.3. Martin takes back that podium position from Mir. Mir's got a battle on his hands this race, hasn't he? So Fanati grabs back a few tenths of a second in that first sector, but again we're being pretty cautious with MacDonald here. Just want to make it to the end of the race without crashing. Touch wood. Actually I can't touch wood because I've got both hands on the controller, but thinking of it. As we go through this very fast exchange of left-handers. Under the bridge there, still not quite in that corner, right hitting that apex and lift off before the brow of the hill. So the shadow, it's not just the shimmer, it's the shadows that are going a bit weird, I think, on my screen as well. I do apologise if you're seeing that in the background, but I think that's just the effect of the game here. They're trying to simulate the end of the world, it looks like. Having a huge flood. Where's Noah's Ark when you need it? As Martin gets past Fanati for second. Mir still not on the podium. You expect the Spaniard to be making the move in that penultimate corner, but it looks like it was Martin who did that. Smanol leads by almost 3 seconds. Gained 2 seconds on that lap. He was only a couple of tenths of a second faster in the opening lap of the race. Really put it down into like third or fourth cruising gears. So he goes slightly wide in that long right, and then again he's even gained time in the first set by a couple of tenths. Oh, the wetter these conditions get, the better MacDonald gets. Should become a powerboat racer, shouldn't he? After he hangs up the helmet on 2 wheels until he goes slightly wide there in the first left-hander. Don't want to be going wide and using these curbs. Want to be doing it there, just about getting away with it. As he now leads Fanati by 4 seconds. But slightly wide over the brow. They had to dab the brakes there. You can see it's not as fast and flowing as it is in the dry. I'm not liking this circuit as much as it is in the dry. But it's a fantastic challenge. Nice having these conditions. Not that you'll probably ever see MotoGP ride in these conditions in real life. Like if it was around Austria especially, they would have called off the race and probably be in the after party already. Or at least, postpone it until Austria's bone dry. Some of the riders would have just refused as well to race in the wet. Around that circuit, one of the probably the most dangerous on the calendar, according to the riders. As well, 29.5 from MacDonald. He's pushing it a bit at the beginning of this fourth lap. It's slightly wide. But there's something to think about for circuits and circuit designers if they want 4 and 2 world racing. As Beluga's charging up into second from nowhere for the Italian. Head of Fanati and Martin. Where's Mir? Where is Connect? I've not even seen his name pop up since the beginning of the race. But you're seeing with Austria, just something that MotoGP has to think about. That's a circuit designed for cars. Do you want to be going there? It was remodeled for cars. It's redesigned for F1 cars. Everything about that circuit's about F1, but then Red Bull's a very good sponsor. Props up a number of teams. The Rookies Cup as well. And a number of riders. Of course has the KTM factory team they back in MotoGP. Of course, a home race for the manufacturer and themselves. With Dieter Mateschitz making that circuit, or building that circuit up once again to be an international venue after being disrepair for a few years in the mid-thousands, and wondering if it's ever going to return to an international race in Canada. It's fantastic what he's done with that circuit in the past few years. As we go into the second half of the race, with MacDonald setting a 28.6. It's going much faster than his qualifying effort. Ridiculous from the Scot. In race conditions, obviously at home, in these conditions as well. There's Berger's battling with Finati, the two Italians battling for second place as Bo is down. Another disappointing race for the KTM rider. He came through the Rookies Cup. Going all full circle here, aren't we? All going slightly wide there. Don't cost us too much though. Just easing that bike in. And so you see with Austria, you see with Malaysia, the Sepang circuit built for F1 in the late 90s. It's the beginning of the expansion from Bernie, where he basically just chased the money. Worked very well for him, worked well for, I would say, F1 in the short term, but now Liberty's got to think of the long term problems that's brought about. You know, he thinking about how to make a calendar that's at least 20 races long now. Insane. I've got to feel for, you know, the crew, mechanics, all the people working hard, those thousands of people. We're barely seeing their families in the next few years if we're going to have like a 22 or 23 race calendar. It's absolutely ridiculous. As Mir and Kennett have pushed their way onto the podium, they're coming in second and third. It's taken them a long while, but they finally dispatched Berger, Martin, Finati. Saying that, Berger's now battling back against Mir and taking third place. It's like the first season all over again, seeing Berger battle with them. It's been a long while for the Italian. He's been very up and down in recent seasons. Since that first season where he's in a very solid third. Even the second season I think he was very solid third, but last season he just fell off. He hasn't quite maintained the form of those early seasons. So yeah, for MotoGP, do they keep doing this, going to circuits that are built for F1 and cars, or do they have to think about just going to circuits for themselves? You know, you have COTA, which is a rare circuit which works well for bikes and cars. Haven't heard much safety complaints about COTA despite all the tarmac runoff that has. But then you have so much more space as well compared to Austria, where you have Bayer and right on the inside of a corner, a few braking zones. When you're travelling at over 200 kilometers per hour, that's not what you want to see, or approaching 200 miles per hour on a MotoGP bike. So you can't blame the likes of like Alicia Spargo speaking out very strongly. Being like, why are we doing this in Austria? So yeah, where does motorcycle racing go in the future? Is where I was thinking of how to build up its international appeal. It's got way too many rounds in Spain. I think no one's going to doubt that apart from the Spaniards and Dora as well. You know, you've got to think about spread it more over the world as well. Maybe bring an African round back. I would love to see some more racing back in South Africa. Of course, it's a bit of a difficult time over there. It's very difficult as well to afford the fees as well, the sanction for the host a race. I think the last time we saw a race in South Africa was Durban, wasn't it? About a decade ago with A1GP. Crazy event on the streets. Pretty fun as well. I would love to see that. I'm sure Formula E could do that as well. We've got other series that can spread to Africa. Of course, there's loads of circuits in Asia. MotoGP to explore. You know, thinking about Thailand, which has become a fixture on the World Superbike calendar in recent years. Could maybe go back the venues like Suzuka, there's been talk about that, or Spa, even though riders say that's too dangerous. Can you imagine MotoGP bikes going up El Rouge and Radion? I can barely imagine GT cars doing that for the 24 hours of Spa, so I can't imagine it on 2 wheels. And you see when they have crashes in the 24 hours of Spa, they were huge in that area. So I can understand why the riders would think they're just mental. Dorna's thinking of trying to host a race there. So there are quite a few venues all over the world that motorbike racing could explore. Maybe even Imola. Maybe you have to use the chicane like they do for World Superbikes, but it could be cool. I prefer that over, say, Misano, I think, having Imola. But then again, it hasn't provided the best racing, I would say, for bikes. The World Superbikes. And I'm sure the home support will be disagreeing with me there. As we cross the line, and Dan MacDonald wins in the ocean of the Sachsenring. There's no track there anymore. This is now the future of the Sachsenring. It's just water everywhere. As MacDonald wins by over 15 seconds from Kennett and Mir, who just held off Martin and Budiger and Fanati. What a close battle. From second to 6th. Less than a tenth. Not a tenth. Less than a second. 7/10 of a second separating those 5 riders. With Magello in 7th. The home hero in 8th. Good job on the KTM. You have Anthony Bastianini again rounding out the top 10. Very consistent this weekend. Lloyd 11th. Nuruddin 12th. Di Giannantonio 13th. Rodrigo 14th. Just ahead of his teammate Guevara, who just pipped Suzuki to the final point by half a tenth of a second. John McPhee not scoring a single point. The score down in 17th. Shocking race from him as Kumar. Excellent race for him though, up to 21st even. And a pretty good fastest lap as well, right up there with guys who are battling for the top 10. So Kumar definitely a pace round there. He finished ahead of the top Peugeot Kornfeld in 23rd, ahead of Del Porte in 28th, Bezecchi in 29th with Bo right at the back. What a disappointing campaign for the Dutchman once again. So in the championship, MacDonald gets that breathing space once again as you head into the second half of the season. 14 points ahead of Connect with Mir. Almost 2 race wins behind now for the reigning champ. He's losing distance in the title race already. 46 points back. With Martin almost 3 race wins back in 4th. 74 points back. With Budiger up into the top 5 ahead of Fanati. Antonelli rounds out the top 10 just ahead of Bashani, just behind the home hero. As Nuruddin is in 14th, now ahead of Guevara. And Rodrigo up to 17th, ahead of Danilo and Binder. 20 riders have scored so far this season. Kumar is up to 27th, ahead of Bezecchi, as the Honda gets ahead of Arenas for 29th. As in the constructors' standings, it's now just 12 points between Honda and Mahindra, with KTM 70 points back and Peugeot yet to score. As yes, there's a very happy MacDonald and the Elusive clones. As we have Bearded Cologne getting MacDonald off his bike here, and yeah, he can't believe how much he was walking in water there. Oh god, he's got a bit delirious in the rain. Too much water. As what a weekend recap for MacDonald and Kumar as well. Look at that race, moving up 7 places. And up to 27th in the championship, and definitely smashed the race objective, did both riders. Fantastic weekend for Elusive, the most successful so far this season. As Kumar improves his throttle management and body position, and MacDonald improves his braking, cornering and body position. And we earn a decent amount of credits and reputation. We've now broken the 50,000 mark in reputation I've seen, at least in the last race that happened in Assen. But before we end this episode, we got to rest. I mean, it does take a lot out of you walking on water. As now we've got an activity day. As MacDonald and Kumar can go to the gym, improve their body position ability by 100 XP if they do some coordination training. Do a TV advert, earn 15,000 credits. 350 reputation for an autograph session, that's nothing. 100% fixed sponsor reward bonus of credits, should I say. In the next race, one sponsors. I'm just going with the TV advert. It gives us lots of credits. 15,000. As next time out, we'll be heading into the second half of the season, at least races-wise, as we head to the Czech Republic and the Automotodromo. Bruno, Will MacDonald continue walking on air over there, and Will Kumar smash it into the top 20, which is now his race objective. Find out next time, South Watch, and I'll see you then.